Welcome to Your True Being. I recount near-death experiences from beyond believers. Subscribe if you're new to this channel. Thus, you will help humanity regain hope. Hello, returning viewers. Like and enjoy this video. Robert shares his life review and a particular lady in heaven, showing him a future conflict in today's narrative. Move on to the story. I was 8 in 1963. I was too sick to eat or drink for about a week due to flu-like symptoms. My mother called the little hometown doctor with concern, but he constantly told her it was just the illness without seeing me. While vomiting only yellow bile, I shall never forget the scorching sensation. I assumed the doctor was not informed. Days of weakness reduced my vomiting. My parents needed to return to work. In the final days of my illness, I was alone during the day. One afternoon, I needed water desperately. I stabilized myself and left the couch, taking baby steps to the kitchen sink. That glass of water beat nectar. As I returned to the living room, my eyesight became white and I fainted. I woke up on the kitchen floor and wondered how long I was there. I informed my mother about the encounter that night, and she looked disturbed. My mood improved the next day, and I played on the floor. Although I felt good, my father asked that I be sent to the doctor since I was pale. The doctor's expression when he put me on the table will always stay with me. One single punch around the appendix told him everything. I remember his urgent voice telling my mother to take me to the hospital. My father was out of town for work that morning and couldn't be reached for hours. My mother objected, but the doctor claimed it was severe. I was hospitalized when he ordered an afternoon procedure. The nurses promptly stripped and shaved my belly. Mom was in and out of the room calling people to assist her reach my father. Before the operation, my hometown doctor introduced me to a surgeon. It was unknown to me that the surgeon had driven 90 miles at great speed to assist with the surgery. Shaving finished, my mother begged me not to worry, but she seemed worried, and I was carried into surgery. Now I was afraid and cried. Having stern nurses made it worse. I complained about a strange fragrance. They lied and said it was my gurney's rubber wheels. They planned to ether me. We put a screen mask on my face, wrapped it with a towel, and poured ether on it. Although I coughed and wept, I was urged to breathe deeply like a balloon. Everything turned black as my head orbited my body like a planet. After everything went black, I discovered I could think and wonder where I was. My childish imagination thought I was drifting alone in the dark universe. I soon spotted wisps of cloud-like animals flying easily. They flew by me as they spun me. When they saw my apprehension, they flew closer. I recall them teasing and laughing as they twirled me. I cried out in fear and begging it to halt. Something changed as I realized I was floating away from the wisps. As my fear dissipated, I was alone again. I soon observed that I was soaring upward to a big circular cone-like shape with dazzling stars. I saw it whirling and the stars were focused in the tiny opening at the top when I gazed up. As I gained momentum, I floated up the spiral tube until I encountered a barrier, like a bubble stuck against something. I got comfortable there and didn't need to leave. I suddenly felt something tugging on me from over the barrier. I was hauled across the barrier by the arm. An approximately 25-year-old fellow dragged me through. He was welcoming and surprised to see me. He asked since he didn't know me. I stood there because I couldn't speak. Then others gathered to gaze at me. They were pleasant older people. My first and last names prompted more queries when they questioned who I was. They claimed to be related but wanted my father. I repeated my name and father's. I think they gasped because they knew my father. I met my father's grandparents, who were cordial and eager to meet me. The two grandmothers held me and reassured me that I was secure because I was confused. I met my father's Korean War deceased cousin, the young man who dragged me in. As I stayed here, I felt stronger and discovered it was warm and comfy. We were surrounded by beautiful white light. I saw we all had a bluish glow. High-backed chairs were their usual seating. The chairs resembled thrones. They showed me a chair that would be my father's, and then one that could be mine if I sat in it. I sat in it initially, but didn't want to settle in because I wanted to explore. Each generation of my father's family, dating back hundreds of years, was sat in their chairs. They returned to a brighter brightness like ladder steps. I don't remember if the older generation acknowledged me or came forward to greet me. Recent generations seemed to say hello. My father's grandparents urged me to wait because a special person was coming to greet me. The elder woman they wanted me to meet shone brighter than the others. She also loved me deeply, but more intensely. This woman was extraordinary. I felt utterly safe in this woman's embrace, like a baby sleeping in their mother's arms. After numerous of her explanations, I realized the bright light was God. She stated she was his messenger to examine my life. She was able to draw memories and events from my head, which we reviewed like a movie. She liked what she saw until we reached an episode when I was furious at my older brother. We watched me smack him in the head with a baseball bat from behind. Steve sobbed as she stressed that hurting others was never acceptable. I felt embarrassed as she continued the review. After the review, this special woman took me back to my father's grandparents and told me to choose. I could stay with them or return to die. Two great-grandmothers persuaded me to stay and sit in my chair again, which I did. I got up again because I was uneasy. The wonderful woman warned me my mother on earth would be upset if I stayed. I told them I loved my mother and wanted to return to avoid her sadness. One of my great-grandmothers contended that sending me back would destroy me because life was so hard on earth. The unique woman told her to honor my desire to return, and I was brought back to where I was pulled through. My relatives were talking at once and appeared worried about me. They told me to study and read, but they also told me my future. I was told I would write a book and marry and have a girl. I also remember horrible things like wartime tanks crashing over sand dunes. They all happened to some extent. The young man who saved me also knocked me down. He advised me to relax and let go. The descent was unpleasant and rapid. The last feeling, I reverted to my unwell body and remembered what it felt like. Why I returned to such pain was my first thought. I opened my eyes to find my living grandmother clutching my hand. I immediately informed her that I'd met her nice mother all away. As the other family told me it was a dream, she looked stunned. I knew they were wrong, but was too unwell to disagree. Today's narrative concludes. See you next time.